OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do, I'm OMW.
Hello YouTubers, welcome to the Dennis Bloodnok Channel. Today we are going to be looking at cinematic video, 24 frames per second, either 1080p or 4K. So let's check this out, but let's see this not so much on an iPhone but on a Nikon DSLR, the D7000, the D750 and my new D780. So let's see what we can achieve.
Hello and welcome to the Dennis Bloodnok Channel.
OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do, I'm OMW. Watch me walk away, putting myself on display. 1, 2, 3 a day, I'm on my way, on my way. I'ma have you on tiptoes, watching my diamond afterglow. I know you.
Hello YouTubers. Okay, setting up the Nikon D750 for video. Firstly, you switch the camera on and then you engage live view by turning that switch there. And then we are now in the autofocus area. I use a pile of cardboard boxes for the manual focusing, which I place roughly where I will be standing, and then you use these two plus and minus buttons here to zoom in on the top of the cardboard box, then use the control wheel on the lens to tune in or to focus, and you are ready to go. Well YouTubers, the Nikon D7000 is only capable of 24 frames per second in 1080p resolution. It cannot switch to any other setting of frames per second. It's 24 frames per second only. So see what you think with this. And here comes another familiar piece of video, also shot on the D7000, 1080p, 24 frames per second. So I think you'll like this.
Hello boys. I bet you're a bit disappointed, aren't you lads?
You wanna take me home, I'm on my way, on my way.
So YouTubers, the settings for video on a Nikon D750. So you switch the camera on, and then down here in the bottom left you make sure that this setting is, instead of pointing towards stills, it's pointing toward video. This is the live view control, and you switch on live view by pressing that LV button. And then over on the left of the camera you press that I button, and you are now into the settings for the video camera. Well, we are going to be going for FX, full frame settings. And now if we come down, you can see it's selecting 1080p 24 frames per second. If I go for OK there, you can see the various options on the Nikon D750. We've got 60 frames per second, 50, 30, 25 or 24. Or if you come down further, you have got the various 720p options. In this case, I am going to go for 1080p 24 frames per second. I'll click OK. We're now going for high image quality, etc, etc, and just click OK and OK again. Press the info button and we are now ready to record. As you may have seen from some of my previous videos, the video autofocus on the D750 is not great. It's mediocre at best. So at this point I use manual autofocus. Now for manual autofocus, I set up plain and simply, I pile up a number of cardboard boxes, one on top of the other, in the point where I will be standing, and then I use these plus and minus buttons here to zoom in on the top cardboard box, and then I use the control wheel on the lens to get the focus that I want. So now we switch to the Nikon D750, in this case with the 50mm f1.4G lens, and in this case, just to give us a comparison, I am shooting 1080p but at 50 frames per second. So see if you can see a difference, because I'm now going to switch to 24 frames per second. And so now we're at 24 frames per second, cinematic 1080p. So see what you think. See if you can see the difference between this and the 50 frames per second video.
W, on my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW, OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW, on my way, on my way.
And so now we're at 24 frames per second, D750, in this case with the 50.
They wanna judge me, I'll testify. Catch me on Insta, I'm verified. They want me quiet, I amplify. I'm on my way to the best thing that you've ever seen. You know that you bow to the queen. You lose all your senses and reason. I'll give you some.
Hello, boys. I bet you're a bit disappointed, aren't you, lads?
Something to believe. OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW, OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW,
on my way, on my way. On my way, on my way.
yeah. OMW, nothing left to prove. So enjoy the view, taking a picture like Malibu. I'ma have you on tiptoes, watching my diamond afterglow. I know you wanna take me home, I'm on my way, on my way.
Now for actual video settings on the D780, we press the I button, and as you can see, the various options have appeared on the screen. If we go for OK here, we're going for high, and then we come down, we're going for high quality, and here are all of the frame rates and resolution levels on that are available on the D780. Now initially I am going to go for 1080p 24 frames per second, but you can also shoot at 50, 25, 30, 50, 60 and 120 frames per second in 1080p, and then 24, 25 and 30 frames per second in 4K. Okay YouTubers, setting up the D780 for video. So firstly, we switch the camera on. We make sure the LV, the live view setting, is pointing to the video camera as opposed to the stills camera. press the LV button, and then of course we have got the one massive advantage that the D780 has over, say, the D750, and that is touch to focus. So we focus where we want to be. Well, YouTubers, here we are, 1080p video at 24 frames per second on the Nikon D780, and we are using the 50mm f1.4G lens. So see what you think, because I'm now going to change to 1080p at 50 frames per second. And so here we are, 1080p video at 50 frames per second on the Nikon D780, and still using the same 50mm f1.4G lens at f2. So see what you think. And now finally the D780, and this is 4K video at 24 frames per second, cinematic 4K. So again, see what you think of this.
OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW, OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do.
Well, YouTubers, to conclude, for video where you are doing just a speak to camera session such as now, it is difficult to really see a major difference between 50 frames per second and 24 frames per second. But I think that with a video where there is more movement and more action going on in the frame, then the difference between 24 frames per second and 50 frames per second will become clearer. So in future videos we will do more testing of this differing of frame rates. Anyway, many thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and the Dennis Bloodnok Channel will return in the next video. Thank you.
I'm OMW.